He likes to stay humble. That's it, man. Which one for the office? Sorry, in the middle.
In the ring with Canelo Alvarez, Terrence is not going to see anything that he hasn't seen before. No, he hasn't seen this beast on fight night, but he's seen versions of this beast for a very, very, very long time. People have said that he's a blown up 147-pound fighter. If you remember, he said it was hard for him to make 147 when he fought Errol Spence Jr. I was like, yo, how is that possible? I didn't realize like he was really doing everything that's needed to gain the weight properly. Most fighters don't know how to gain weight and fit into a weight class properly. He's done that.
Canelo is the last fighter in our generation that's a Hall of Famer, you know, that got the biggest name in the sport. So, you know, I chose to go up in weight and to actually try to conquer him from, you know, all his achievements in the division. So why not? I just respect him as all. You know, he's a great fighter. He's, you know, a good boxer. He's a good counter puncher. He's never, you know, off balance. He got a good chin. He got good power. Got, you know, good movement when he want to move. What is there to not say about him?
No, I got you. Now, with all of that, as you rattled off, we'll call it the scouting report, right? What will you have to do to be your best version in order to get this victory?
I think just be myself and just don't get careless in the ring, and, you know, stay sharp all 12 rounds if it goes 12 rounds. I think that's the only thing that, you know, I need to do, and make sure that in training that I sharpen up all my...
So here's a video that many people have sent me to determine in their mind that Terrence Bud Crawford would lose to Canelo Alvarez, or is going to lose September 13th to Canelo Alvarez, as he is sparring here middleweight WBC world champion Carlos Adames, who is 24 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 18 wins by way of knockout. And people are saying that Carlos Adames, who's 5'11" with a 73-inch arm reach, is having his way with Terrence Bud Crawford. And this is an indication that the 168-pound Canelo Alvarez, who's 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach, is going to have the same type of success and knock Terrence Crawford out. But what people are not paying attention to is Terrence Crawford is standing right in front of Carlos Adames and taking the big punches from Carlos Adames as he's standing in the pocket and counter-punching him and taking his blows at a smaller weight class while competing at 147. Now he bulked up. What y'all?
We just got some footage. Terrence Bud Crawford on his socials, on Instagram, that's where I got mine from, on Instagram, him throwing punches with the slip rope. I want you guys to tell me what you see. On top of that, I may get a copyright because I think he's playing some music, but I like the song so much. We'll just delete it later. Either way, after that, I show Canelo Alvarez on the slip rope when he was preparing for his last fight in Williams.
Boxing fans, mark your calendars. September 13th isn't just another fight night. It's a turning point. 2 undisputed champions, 2 legends of this era. One ring, Canelo Alvarez, the face of Mexican boxing and king of the 168-pound division, defends his throne against a man who refuses to be defined by weight classes, Terrence Bud Crawford. Crawford is making the leap, not just in weight, but in ambition, from dominating at 140 to conquering 147. Now he's stepping into the lion's den at 168. And the lion, it's Canelo. Let's be honest. Most fighters crumble under pressure from Alvarez. He's faced killers. He's eaten punches, and he's sent champions home broken. But Crawford isn't most fighters. He's a technician, a tactician, a fighter who sees openings where others see danger. And now he's put everything on the line to chase greatness.
And of course, look, you've accomplished everything. You're a first ballot Hall of Famer. You've been undisputed now in 2 weight classes. This will give you an undisputed championship in the 3rd weight class. But not just that, you know you're fighting an all-time great, and you know that the credit's gonna go to you if you beat a guy like Canelo Alvarez at 168. Is that why you want it?
Well, when I beat him.
When you beat him.
Definitely. You know, the stakes is high. You know, it's high risk, high reward type of fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
When would you say, from memory, that you first thought this fight was a real possibility, that you started thinking about this fight actually happening?
Well, I started thinking about it, you know, a couple of years ago when they started talking about Spence fighting Canelo. Then just, you know, sizing him up, like, all right, how tall is he? You know, how long his arms and things like that, just sizing him up like that and going to his fights and things like that. And when he walk out the ring, I'm looking at him like, man, all that big, you know. So me talking with Turkey and Turkey not wanting to fight, and me like, yeah, this is the fight that I want, being that, you know, he's the last great.
I'm going with Terrence Crawford. You know, big weight jump. A dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terrence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terrence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me.
Terrence got to be Terrence, bro. He's a real deep thinker. He processed fights like nobody else. And he's processed this Canelo fight. He's seen it. He went through it 2 or 3 times already. He knows how this ends. You can tell the way he shadow boxes. He visualizing Canelo being right there in front of him. You understand? Look at the movement. That's all you got to do. Look at the movement. And that's the type of master boxer that Canelo is going to be facing. And the only thing I say is Canelo hasn't faced an opponent like this in a long time. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's going to have to go back to the Caleb Plant fight and look that good, that active, that, you feel me, moving with that type of grace to beat Terrence Crawford. Because weight ain't going to make the difference. It ain't going to be the weight. It's going to be the skill.
Isolating himself in training, gaining weight the right way, and sharpening every weapon in his arsenal. Still, the question looms. Can skill conquer size? Canelo has power, chin, and experience in this division. Crawford has speed, timing, and a killer instinct that's unmatched. It's a chess match between 2 grandmasters, but with real punches. Experts are split. Some say Bud's speed and footwork will frustrate Canelo. Others believe one clean shot is all Canelo needs. No trash talk, no gimmicks, just pure legacy on the line.
So I think that Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo. You got to look at, and then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, you know, and he can look bigger in. Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get in that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin. He fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference, Jamel looked like the bigger man. You know, his head, his neck, everything looked bigger. But when they got in the fight, you can tell. You can see who really was the bigger man. And I think that's the same thing. Crawford is putting on weight, but it's not weight. Like Canelo had the weight already. He doesn't have to put on muscle. He doesn't have to do that. He's already big like that. But I think that Crawford does have the style. He does have the style to beat him. If you look at the people that beat him or gave him trouble, Irislan, DeLaura, Austin Trout, Floyd, and Bivol. You know, they gave him trouble and stuff like that. And Skull moved around a little bit too. So I think that Crawford has that. But I don't know how Crawford is gonna respond when he gets hit. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel was undisputed at 154, and Canelo hit him and shit. Jamel was like, hell no. Jamel took a knee. You know, so it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154, and he didn't. You know, Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about this might be. I mean, people might kill me for it, but well, not really. But this might be the best Mexican fighter.
Fight that he can fight, the only correct fight that he can fight, he does have a chance, and I think he could be victorious. If he doesn't, he doesn't fight one way, he can only fight to win it. Terrence Crawford has 6 ways he can win.
I know is that if you were in a Canelo Crawford card, that card would be a million times. It's still an amazing card, but you would have added a lot. Who wins, Canelo or Crawford?
I think it's gonna be a good fight, man. I'm going for Canelo, of course. You know, he's the Mexican warrior as well. But Crawford, man, you can't neglect him or you can't underestimate him as well. You know, he has a lot of skills, a lot of movement. He's a lefty as well. That's what Canelo has trouble with. I think it's gonna be an amazing fight, man. I just can't wait.
To have a guy come up from 140 pounds in such a short period of time. I'm not saying he couldn't have done it. If he'd have taken 3 or 4 years like Canelo did and built up not only his strength but his bulk in the correct way, he would have had a better chance. But to do it in these 14, 15 months that he's done it in.
If Crawford pulls this off, he becomes the first male boxer in history to become undisputed in 3 weight classes. If Canelo wins, he proves once again why he's the face of boxing and why legends are made, not hyped. So we ask you, will Crawford shock the world, or will Canelo remind us who runs 168? Drop your predictions in the comments. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more fight breakdowns. This isn't just a super fight. This is boxing history in the making.